Hi, guys. This is Bill Gaither from the Marketing and Public Relations Office. We're coming back this week to feature another Wellness Wednesday series. And this time we're going to be speaking with Dan Yasenko. He is another wonderful, wonderful member of our college, and he works in student services. Dan, tell us a little bit about yourself and maybe how long you've been with the school and what you do.
I don't know that I'm going to be able to live up to that introduction, Bill, but I've been here for a long time. I started in 1986. That's roughly 34 years. And I started as a recruiter, and I've worked primarily in advising, and I work as a counselor.
What are just some of the things that are kind of going on in your world right now, and what are students coming to you with?
You know, Bill, when you first brought this up, I thought, well, I just started reflecting on the things that I was hearing from folks, and I thought it would be important just to summarize what students have been telling me and what they've been experiencing. And I think sometimes when people hear these things and they recognize they're sharing the same feelings as others, you don't feel as strange or put upon because of it. So, and you know, I guess I'll just start out. What I hear most from people are the typical day-to-day issues that people have because of the quarantine and the virus. The most common I hear, or no doubt about it, the most common I hear are issues people have going from a traditional lecture class to online learning. It's been a rough transition, and we have some people, like our students majoring in our computer programs or ICT degrees, not an issue. This is what these folks do on a regular basis, so this hasn't really been too upsetting for that population. And then we have other students who attended online anyway. So for these folks, it hasn't been the same challenge.
So some of those students, like you said, this is normal for them. Their computers are in front of them, technology is always there. What about some of the other students who this is a lot more traumatic for them?
Well, some of the folks just don't have reliable technology. I mean, you can imagine if you don't have internet or if your computer crashed. Or I talked to somebody the other week whose computer was stolen. So what do you do? And then there are other folks who, when they come in to enroll for classes, they explicitly say, don't put me in an online course. I don't want any online learning, and they don't like technology. The other would be people who are hands-on learners. I'm an advisor for our students in auto tech, welding, CNC, and these are folks who learn by doing. And that's why they're in the programs they are, because they have labs and they could go out and actually do things to learn. You can imagine, as hard as it is for our general students, how tough it would be for these folks to have to learn everything over the internet now.
Something else too is a lot of those hands-on programs would be the instructors and those challenges for them as well.
Gosh, I think it's probably in some cases harder for them than it is for the students, because they don't teach that way. And then they're expected to have these things prepared. So yeah, it's rough for everyone involved.
You know, something else with this too is that while this is all happening and we're focused on school and student success and academics, students are also they're adults. They are working. There's a lot of external factors outside of the classroom that they're dealing with.
Without a doubt. I mean, obviously the people who aren't working, they have rent, medical expenses, medication. You know, if their kids have medical issues, sometimes there are legal issues, divorces. Those things don't stop. And if you don't have a check coming in, you can imagine the stress and anxiety that that's going to create. And not everything's going to be dire, but even those bills and burdens that aren't of that same magnitude, they still pile up on folks. You know, there are cases too where we're seeing the exact opposite situation, where people aren't struggling with money because they've seen their work hours and in some cases double. Everybody's heard the term essential functions. So folks working in nursing homes or cashiers, grocery stores, transportation, mechanics, technicians, those types of things, they have to stay employed. It's necessary for everyone else to be able to survive and maintain. So the students who are in these fields have to worry routinely about the number of hours that they have doubling and how they're going to get their coursework and their other things done. You know, it all builds. This is what I'm hearing from folks, is how, depending on their situation, the ways that this affects people is multifaceted, and they all take a toll.
What is advice that you can give to people to try to mentally deal and handle with all of this?
Like in so many things, recognize your support group. Any folks who you have who can help you out with things, maybe carry the burden a little bit. When you're working that many hours and you have no choice, then other things are going to suffer. And this relates to another element of this. When, because of the quarantine, depending on your home situation, people who are working a lot are out of the home, but yet the responsibilities that you have in the home are going to increase. Bill, I know the other day when we talked, I heard your kids and you talked a little bit about homeschooling and 24-hour daycare and having a spouse in the house. Even things like preparing a home office, getting your computer and technology lined up. These are all things that take time. So, gosh, if your work hours went from 20 hours a week to 40, you can imagine how hard this is going to be to get these things put together. Then aside from that, I think we forget how often, if we're running late, we'll just drop by somewhere and pick up a meal and bring it home, or just eat on the run. And when you're quarantined, we're doing all of our cooking and preparation and cleaning at home. So yeah, it takes more time. And if you're working a lot, that's the time that you don't have.